He can do anything. He can do anything.
He comes from that AI mold, na?
That is why his name is
Sid GPT.
Because he won it, he got 30 seconds to roast Gulati sir also.
a bonus.
You know,
A
he's
bonus.
beatable, yeah, I'm telling you. We can
No, now it's been twice that.
1 second, repeating. You cannot say
Sorry,
anything.
I forgot. I'm saying that, he's beatable. He can be beaten. So, just because he won this time doesn't mean that, he's Sid GPT.
But Gulati sir, this is the second time that you have lost to him. In a row. This time also he was about to whitewash you. But you just managed to win one round, so it went to the fourth round. Otherwise, it was a 3-0 sweep.
See, I made a good guess. I always knew that he would tell 14 stadiums, but I never thought that he would be able to tell in 30 seconds. I expected it in 60 seconds because, you have to name the full stadiums. So that is the point. I thought that, I'm doing the right thing. It just didn't click.
But Gulati said you lost, na. And you were supposed to get rid of your beard. It was on camera. You said it during the dugout also, and even before we started the quiz, that was the first thing we talked about.
At Tuesday, na, he doesn't cut his beard on Tuesday.
No, he said that. Tuesday we don't. After that quiz, I asked him when will people see you without the beard. He said Monday during the dugout.
Tuesday is today. Weekend wasn't Tuesday.
Yeah.
But that I am a bit surprised. See, winning and losing is part of the game. Part of life. You can win, you can lose. But to not honor your word,
Exactly.
that's not a gentleman's promise. Why is it called a gentleman's promise? That you honor it. As a man, you stand up, you honor it. But if you're not honoring, I didn't know you bet that you will shave off your beard if you lose to him. Now that you have lost, you have to. That you have to, gentleman. Sid V is the perfect example. And he had to, at one point, eat a raw egg.
He literally had egg on his face.
Yeah, and he did it. He did it. Shane had to do the dance. And he lost. He did it. Push-ups.
Push-ups?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
they had to do. Everyone who was lost has honored their word. That's a gentleman.
I'll get it done in a day or two.
Take it.
Okay, I'll get it done. Pakka.
Sid.
Acha, that's why Siddharth had come to office to see ki has he honored his word or not. But he is not, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
As of now.
I thought Siddharth came to cover the non-existent test match.
Where? Happening?
Shaheed.
Or maybe, he
XYZZ.
Or maybe he came to cover the dugout. So, this is what my 4 colleagues, spoke about.
No, he did not. Siddharth had gone to the Greater Noida, Shaheed Bhagat Singh, whatever, Vidya Peeth Stadium, where the match has not happened. While we are still joking and cracking a few jokes, but what has really happened in Greater Noida is no joke. It is quite a serious matter. It's a test match after all, pinnacle of the sport that we all enjoy in cricket. And you've had 2 days now, 2 days where it's not rained. It started raining today, much later after the game got called off, because you had poor conditions. I was there in the US when we were in Florida, and you could not have a game because there was a dry period for 4-5 hours and you could not manage a game, and that came in for a lot of flack, quite rightfully so. But here it's gone not 1 step, 2 steps, 10 steps further, where you've reached a situation where there has been no rain at all for 2 days and you haven't had a single ball being bowled. I'm sorry, but international cricket cannot be treated this way. I'm sorry, test cricket, which is already dying for viewership, for attention, you're going to treat it this way. How many people are going to turn up? I believe that there were people who were keen to go watch this test match because there is a sizable refugee population of Afghan people that stay in Delhi. They were all gearing up to go. Plus there are a lot of other fans who enjoy the New Zealand team. New Zealand team is a popular team in India. Kane Williamson is a very popular cricketer. Some of our colleagues put New Zealand ahead of India also when a match happened. So it's a popular team per se, and people would have gone. But it's unfortunate what has happened. What has everyone picked up? Who is to be blamed for this? Because what I'm seeing right now on social media, blame game has started. UPCA has got its mouthpieces that are saying we are absolutely right. We offered them Kanpur, you can play there. They refused. Afghanistan is saying no, we could have chosen a different stadium. BCCI is saying something. Who is responsible? What does everyone think?
It's again, I don't quite think there's just one entity that can be blamed over here. It's unfortunate that it rained again. That's something nobody can foresee, or you can foresee it only to an extent.
But rain is not an issue, na, Arshit.
Exactly, but it's just a subset because drainage is a problem. People have complained about the drainage facility as well. However, the one area which I see only and only the UP Cricket Association being responsible over here is the catering and all, the fact that utensils were being washed in the washroom and all that is just
Who's
not
responsible for that? Because UP Cricket Association is saying we have nothing to do with it. This
no,
is
but
local
clearly they are the ones who will, the catering and all, it's got to be looked after by them only.
No, they are saying we are not party to this. We were telling them you come and play in Kanpur. They have decided.
That's just one side again, but that doesn't mean if they decided for logistical reasons or whatever it may be to play in Greater Noida, that doesn't mean that the catering people use the same washroom.
What has happened is wrong. I want to know who's responsible.
It has to be for that particular incident. It has to be the UPCA.
See, I think I agree with Harshit here. It has to be UPCA because let's just not forget that this ground has been banned by the BCCI. It hosted a Dulip Trophy match way back in 2016. It was a pink ball match, and in 2017 it was banned by the BCCI primarily because of the fixing that took place during the corporate matches there. So the UPCA, they are pretty much all on their own if they have to organize this kind of a match, an international match there. So if they are the necessary stakeholders who are taking care of all these things, the food and all.
UPCA is saying the Afghanistan Cricket Board, because they are the host board, never even got in touch with us. They got in touch with the local organizers here and organized it in this ground.
But it can't really happen without, the clearances going through them.
Absolutely.
It is within their territory. Afghanistan cricket may have blossomed over here. The players may have gotten refuge over here. But that doesn't mean that a match can happen at a stadium which is under their jurisdiction without their approval.
No, what they are saying, this is not our ground. This is a authority ground here. Government, I think, runs it. They're saying this is not our ground. For example, Ekana is a UPCA ground, or Green Park in Kanpur is a UPCA ground. They're saying this is not our ground. It is up to Afghanistan Cricket Board to decide. What UPCA is saying that we offered them. By the way, UPCA has done a U-turn. First they said we offered them Lucknow. Now they are saying no.
Kanpur.
Lucknow was busy. Ekana was to host their own matches. So they said why to do it in Green Park in Kanpur. We offered them that, but the organizers and Afghanistan Cricket Board, they were not interested. See, eventually because Afghanistan is a host board, they could have picked. What they are saying is Afghanistan picked Greater Noida simply because of proximity to Delhi, ease of getting into Greater Noida from Kabul also. You could take a flight directly here and then from here just watch instead of going further into the interiors, whether it's Kanpur, Lucknow, whatever. That's one. A lot of, as I said, Afghan refugees stay in and around, so they expected the crowds to come in. That's why they said we want to do Greater Noida, and this is a ground that they had been using earlier as their home ground. So they said.
The one thing though with regards to Afghanistan cricket that I have is, and the team that's been over here, that they've been in, they landed last Wednesday if memory serves me right. How is it, or maybe I'm not privy to it, how is it that none of these issues, I know the match situation is something else. How is it that none of these catering issues and the other management issues that they faced in terms of logistics as well, they weren't happy with the facilities? How is it that nothing was being spelled until day before yesterday night?
Maybe everything was happening like this, but because suddenly an international test match happening here, there was so much media attention there suddenly, that's why these things came up. And secondly, I also feel that UPC is the one to be blamed here also, because I feel at the end of the day, every association is given a fund every year to manage all the stadiums. So BCCI, I wouldn't blame BCCI here because I feel that BCCI cannot be keeping an.
No, BCCI has no skin in this.
Yeah.
So that's why UPC, because it was banned for so long. Only corporate games, like you also mentioned, you've also played there a couple of times. All the corporate games.
Very good ground.
Yeah, all of such things were going on there. They were not expecting any sort of a game which would have so many eyeballs in it, because BCCI wasn't going to have any game over there because it was.
I remember. I mean, apart from having played a couple of games here, very good ground, big ground, those hillocks, very nice. I've even covered matches. I covered that Dulip Trophy that he's talking about. 16.
Ping ball, right?
Yeah, ping ball match. I covered that. UV was playing, I remember.
Rohit Sharma
yeah,
also.
big guys were playing in that match. That match happened and all of that went very well. By the way, that was also under lights to a certain part. So the lights were good. Everything was good. It was managed. I think this rain coming down or even the time that I played there, or the time that I went and covered the Tulip Trophy, rain wasn't a factor. So when everything is fine, it's a good ground to play in. It's when there is rain, that's when you actually get to know how much money has been spent in terms of ground staff, what are the facilities you have. You didn't, and you should have preempted it. And I think the blame also lies with the Afghanistan Cricket Board. If you are the host board, if you're really keen, then you should do your due diligence as to where all can you play, and which all ground has that drainage facilities, has all these facilities in terms of, you know, multiple people in the ground staff, or covers, big covers covering the ground, super, so on and so forth. That also the Afghanistan board should have done. They didn't have to choose Greater Noida. I gave you reasons they chose, but they could have chosen another ground as well. I think BCCI, when they asked, BCCI also offered them Bangalore, if I'm not mistaken. I think the 3 venues that were offered were Kanpur, Bangalore, and one more. These are the 3 offers, but they decided to pick Greater Noida.
But don't you think that also because there are not too many international games and not too many games that are high profile, maybe the ground staff in general also isn't that prepared? Because
Exactly,
it's clearly,
100%.
because it's clearly not, it's not because it's rained, it's because water is seeped in through the covers. Maybe while removing the covers, this has happened.
No, absolutely. That is exactly what I'm saying. So when you know that this can be an issue with the ground, why even bother to choose it?
There were only two venues, Kanpur and Bangalore.
Yeah, that's why I said Kanpur and Bangalore offer. They chose Greater Noida. Anyway, that's that. Lots of reportage on that from ground. Siddharth Vishwanathan had gone to the Shaheed Vidyapeeth, what? Greater Noida Stadium.
Yeah, in fact, you know, he sent one title and he had written the whole name of the stadium there. It wasn't fitting.
Despite my fact, I tell, keep the titles crisp, short.
That's why I had to cut it down, and at the end I put it Noida Stadium.
You know who it is the day that you see Rohit Gurunath Sharma in the title.
So that's still okay.
What about Chaminda versus full name?
IPPK, whatever he does for
IPK.
Ishan something Ishan.
Yeah.
Anyway.
GPT for a reason.
Yeah. No, he refuses to acknowledge him as
No, because he's lost to him. Not
he's, I think, what do you say, Angur Khatte.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
See, I know that he's beatable. I'm telling you. I've done that in the past. I've done it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying
You know
that.
what? In fact, he was telling me that
you're not going to find a lot of people with that kind of confidence when Siddharth, when it comes to such things, is the opponent.
But that day he was saying you need to change the opponent now. It's getting too easy for me.
Shaheed Vijay Singh Pathak Stadium. Anyway, okay, what's on agenda today? We are looking at a busy test match season coming up for the Indian team. But the focus today is on Virat Kohli because the last few days we've been looking at what are the important things or takeaways of for Indian cricket, so on and so forth. But I think it's going to be an important season for Virat. He's, his latest memory is of being world champion in the T20 format. He's quit that game. Now he can focus all his energies towards ODI cricket as well as Test cricket, more so Test cricket because we've got more Test matches coming than ODI cricket. And he has a few records to chase. Whether some people like looking at those records, there are others that do not like looking at those records. Whatever said and done, eventually cricket is a game of numbers. A lot of numbers are discussed and fans will continue to do that, right? So firstly I want to know where is it that Virat is standing at the moment, his overall record in terms of the runs that he has scored and the runs that he has scored in the last 2 years and the runs that he's got overall. So I think Shivam is continuing from yesterday till today. If he can please be kind enough to show us some numbers of where Virat is overall and where he has been in the last 2 years. So this makes for an interesting reading. His overall numbers are, of course, if he's got 80, 100, how is it 50 and 29?
One is
T20. Good one. Yes. So what we're doing
I got
is
scared for a minute.
As you should.
Even though I wasn't there, I did it last time.
Okay, so basically what we're looking is overall record. What we haven't mentioned in that, and that's very important, is that this is sans T20. So we're not looking at T20 cricket, and why we're not looking at T20 cricket is because the future for Virat is going to be Tests and ODI. So his overall record, both in ODIs and Test cricket, is outstanding. 58 is what he's averaging in ODIs with 50 hundreds, and almost 50 is what he's averaging in Test match cricket with 29 hundreds. But if you see the last 2 years, while ODIs you haven't seen much of a dip, it's just a difference of 2 runs in terms of average and enough hundreds there to see overall 15-year career vis-a-vis last 2 years. It's almost there. It's the Test career which has seen a bit of a slump. I mean, not like really bad numbers, because of someone who's averaging 49, if he's at 41, that's a marginal dip, but it's a dip nonetheless. But the hundreds have also seen a bit of a dip in 2 and 3. So the season coming up is going to be very, very important. But what we're going to be discussing are 2 parameters, and we're not breaking. This is just so that you know where he stands at the moment. What we are discussing are 2 major records that he's chasing. One record that he's chasing is of most hundreds. Sachin Tendulkar stands right on top of most hundreds with 100 hundreds. Kohli is number 2 with 80. The other record that he's chasing is most international runs as well, where he's right now in the 4th position. Of course, Sachin Tendulkar also topping this list with 34.3k runs. Yeah, let's throw it open. What do you reckon? Where is he heading? What is happening? Which one do you want to do first? Hundreds, or let's do international runs, I think.
Oh, hundreds?
Hundreds, you know why? Why hundreds? We can get to 100. Hundreds, it's a 2-horse race. There are only 2 people. Here there are multiple contenders. You know, does he go past Ponting? Does he go past Sangakkara? Where does he sit? How many years does he have, to go, and so on and so forth. So let's take a look at international runs. What does everyone think? Or what does everyone think in their opening comments in terms of where he stands, how important a season it is for him?
It's interesting how times change, how narratives change as well. 2 years earlier, we were all dead set about the fact that he's eclipsing a Sachin, and he was always going to be destined to break all these records.
Were you dead sure he was eclipsing a Sachin?
You were.
I wasn't.
You were.
It's going to be a close contest.
Yeah, you were. I'd say if one feels, let's say, 80% about it right now, you were feeling about 90% back then. I'm not saying for myself, but people at large, if you feel that a Virat Kohli is still, let's say, in position to overhaul Sachin Tendulkar's tally, if you're saying that with some confidence, that confidence would have been even greater a couple of years back, is what I'm saying. There is merit in that argument even now, but it is not as it's let's say it was easier to comment on it back then, it's tougher now.
What do you
so it's become interesting.
No, of course, 2-year dip has been there.
Yeah, and what's happened is that in these 2 years, while none of those names happen to be there in terms of overall international runs, some of the names that he's competing against, those of his generation in Test cricket, they've really gone past Virat Kohli. Let's admit that a couple of those names have really gone past Virat Kohli, and the next 10 Test matches will determine where Virat finishes this season. Of course, going forward, we don't know how things go.
I want to know this. What do you reckon? Is he going past, not going past?
I have a feeling I might just see Virat Kohli standard at number 2.
You don't think he's going past most international?
Yeah, I have my reasons. I'll break that down as we move into the hundreds.
Sure. Give us
but
at
the outset, let me just pull out some of the numbers as well.
Sure,
again, it's diminishing returns as well. If
we'll have somebody else also.
If Virat Kohli's numbers are to go by, but just my hypothesis being 200s is just one faction of it. In the last 2 years, I'm expecting the season to get better for Virat Kohli as we progress in it. However, with T20 cricket gone, it's those runs gone as well. And he was.
We're not looking at T20.
Yeah. So the thing is, Test cricket and ODI cricket, we'll have to keep in mind that he will only be playing depending on what you're looking at now in terms of ICC tournaments now. So Virat Kohli is going to be out of action for a lot of months when there is a T20 World Cup happening. So in 2026, maybe there'll be a time you don't see Virat Kohli, because Asia Cup, if there is one that year, will happen in the T20 format. So Virat Kohli will not be seen for a longer time. ODI World Cup year 2027, again the number of ODIs will only then increase. So in all of that, with cricket now getting limited for Virat Kohli and Test cricket as well, you see we don't play the number of Test matches that an England does. That maybe we play just as many as Australia do, but not.
They are only looking at Kohli's numbers. No?
Kohli's numbers.
So I'll get you those numbers a little later. So you don't have to look at England. So I mean, if you're just concentrating on what Kohli does, Kohli will continue to play the Test matches that he has. Does that take him past? Forget what England is doing.
So while as far as ODI goes, I'm far more confident of Virat Kohli breaking the records in ODI cricket. He already has.
No, I'm talking about most international.
Most international runs, again, it's a smaller subset. If you have to get there, again, it can happen via the ODI route, it can happen via the Test route.
I know, yeah.
But because the Test route I feel is tougher now, I don't think he's getting past a Sachin Tendulkar. So 8,000 odd runs that are left, I find that difficult.
If I just look at, I also feel he's not getting past the runs of Sachin Tendulkar of most international runs. And the reason would be, clearly I'm just taking 4 more years of international cricket for Virat at max. Playing the 20.
4 more years is a long time.
Exactly, that's why I'm saying. Even if he plays for 4 more years.
By the way, just to let you know, Virat turns
36
in November, 5th of November. And so I guess if you were to put a range to how many years he's going to play, I think it will be anywhere between 2 to 4 years, because there is a chance by 38 you're done, or there's a chance you can push it to 40. I think that's the max. So he's playing anywhere between 2 to 4, even though he's one of the fittest guys around. But it's always sometimes not just your fitness in terms of running and running between the wickets and fielding and so on and so forth. It's also your reflexes, your eyesights and those things. So, I mean, a safe bet would be anywhere between 2 to 4 years.
Yeah,
right?
That's why I'm taking the upper margin here. I'm taking 4 years.
4.
Yeah,
Okay.
Also, he's bitten by the Cristiano Ronaldo mentality bug, so I guess he's going to be pushing till late 30s, even 40.
but the kind of
thing
person,
that is club cricket versus international cricket.
Oh, so Ronaldo's playing internationally
Yeah,
as well.
but then he also, see, in football you can, in the World Cup he was sitting on the bench not starting. Players are okay.
Yeah.
In cricket it doesn't happen.
But here also he missed the entire series for personal reasons.
But that's what I'm trying to, you're not getting my point. I'm saying you cannot carry players there. In a football game, you can carry somebody who's at the end of his career for use him for 10 minutes. In cricket, doesn't happen. You are either in the 11 or you're not. And for players like a Sachin or a Virat, you can never just go in with squads. I will come in for. So the football example doesn't work, because in football I can carry a few players just for their, let's say, finishing.
But you're doing that here as well. No, by carrying I mean you're selectively taking them for tours, you're selectively taking them for series.
Yeah, you reduce their workload, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying once your eyesight is gone, it's gone.
Yeah, and also what Virat has...
It's not about managing his workload. I'm saying, are you good enough to be part of the team?
And even
that question will also come, right? It started to come for Sachin also. It's not about whether you rest him. That's another thing. Workload management, to manage his work. But for you to do workload, let's say you're doing workload for Bumrah, you're managing. But Bumrah, eyes closed, is your 11 starter, right? For batters, you will reach a stage where questions are asked, is he my top 5-6 batter? Or am I not? That is the question.
Also with Virat, he's again and again mentioned the fact that the day I do not feel like playing and do not feel like giving my 100% is the day I will say goodbye to international cricket overall also.
But it's not always him, no?
Yeah. That's why I'm saying, that's why I'm taking 4 years at max.
I'll give an example. Like, I'm talking about legends. VVS Lakshman, Rahul Dravid, Saurav Ganguly, Sachin Tendulkar, all of them at one point you think they are untouchable, the greatest. But when you reach that stage, suddenly runs are not coming, you're like, oh no boss, we gotta look. You reached the stage, right? You lost 4-0, 4-0 in Australia and England. We want different batters.
Yeah.
Before you knew it, Rahul Dravid, VVS Lakshman had announced his retirement. Rahul Dravid announced his retirement, and few months down the line, Sachin Tendulkar. So it's your utility for the team.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying 4 years from now, Virat playing even for 4 years, that I would say 1,000-1,200 runs at max a year for him, that would be a decentish.
Should I give you that? Okay, since you guys are now assuming, let me give you the calculation. Then maybe you can debate, because I have.
Even after that, I don't see him breaching the.
No, so I'll exactly give you the calculation, and there will be arguments that you guys will make in favor, in against it, because some might argue that, oh, this is his overall record.
Using calculations for how many he needs every year.
Yeah, calculation, I'll just give it to you. Please give me the shit. And let us go. Okay, can you cut this on full screen? Hana? Okay, so I have it. I'll just tell you in how many. So he is getting in ODIs till now. Okay, and what I've done is, wait, I'll just put a number of period, and this will help you, because you were saying things, right? We don't know how many, he's not playing too many test matches. England play more test matches, other teams don't. So what I'm doing is, I'm not looking at England, I'm looking last 13 years average. So in last 13 years, so that why I've taken 13 is because by that time he has started playing all format, and we need to look at all formats to get that. So last 13 years, so it will not be only taking his bad period of last 2 years, it's not even taking his good period of 16, 17. I'm looking at his 13 year, which is a long thing, where it will be up, downs, everything. And so it evens out, because going forward also he may have up and down, maybe a fantastic year or not so fantastic year. So it's 13 years and it's an average. So what he's doing in terms of runs, so he's in ODIs getting you about 900 runs a year. Okay, and in tests he's getting you about 675 runs a year. Okay, per year he's been giving you this much on an average. This is what he's giving you. And since we are only looking at runs right now, what will happen if he continues to play, if he plays 2 more years? Okay, he plays 2 more years, how much will he end up
So you're saying about 1800 runs in ODIs he gives.
So I'm giving you exactly. So he is at 26940, right? This is where he is, right? You will have plus 1350 plus 1800. So he goes to 30k runs. If he, and this is, I'm only looking at tests and ODIs, not looking at T20Is at all, because
just for the next 2 years.
Next
right?
2 years, but I have kept Shashwat, his dream and his ambitions in mind. So I've also looked at 4 years.
Yeah.
So his 4 years is, he's still also right now at 26940, right? And this is this is for 4 years, right?
So he roughly gets to
4 more years. So he will get to 26940. Okay, he will have plus
3350
plus 3600, which is equal to 33.2k.
So that's,
so this is where he gets in terms of his runs based on the kind of seasons that he's had, right? So this is 2 more years if he plays, 4 more years if he plays, he gets to this figure 33. If he plays for 2 years, he gets to 30k. So those are the 2 figures that you have if he continues at the rate that he has been getting. Where does that put him? If you can show us the overall list, Shivam.
second.
He takes him to the 2nd position.
But this is also assuming that he has the kind of form he's had all throughout these years.
No, but that's exactly I explained.
That you have
We've
taken
looked
13
13
years,
years,
that's
so
why
that has
But
that has
the
had,
thing is, I understand where Shas was getting from, and I partly agree with him because again, those 2 years were the lowest of lows for him. When you take the 13-year average, it offsets those 2 years by quite a margin.
But it
because
should,
it was so excellent. Again, I will.
It should.
I do
After that, he's
have.
never again sort of reached
Because
the
I'm-
peak he was on before that.
But all I'm saying is that Shashwat, you're saying it today.
Yeah.
Today you are saying he may not. I'm just saying, why do you take an average? Why do you take an average?
Yeah.
Because there is no way of predicting what might happen. For all you know, his next 2 years could be the greatest of his career.
Yeah.
We cannot take it.
But
So for the purpose of seeing a trajectory, for doing a prediction, you will have to take an average.
Yeah.
Assumptions can be anything, like, you know, which can be our opinion, and maybe all of us will give our opinion of where we see his graph go. Some may see it go up, some may see it come down, some may think that no, he probably will maintain the average that he's had. So that's our opinion. But I'm just saying, if I was to just look at purely in terms of numbers, I am taking 13 years because in that 13-year period, he's seen the highs and the lows. And with the highs and the lows put together, he's found a median. And that median tells us that if he plays for 4 years, which all of us agree will be the top line, he reaches 33 point. Can we please see that, Shivam, the most runs? If he keeps his peak time, he reaches 33.2k runs. That is well short of Sachin Tendulkar. And again, safe to say that irrespective of our opinion as to what his form could be, as I said, some might think that he may dip because of age. Some may think that no, maybe because he's let go of T20 cricket, he's going to peak. We don't know. But even if he was to have his best years, I think him crossing that mark of 34.3k
That's going to
is next to impossible, unless he ends up playing till 42 years.
Then it's possible.
And for him to play till 42 years will not be a favor. He may be good enough to be playing till 42 years. I don't know. But I think that is just pushing it. I think this what we have done right now, 30k for 2 more years and 33. I mean, what are your guesses? What do you think? 2 years, 4 years? What do you see for him?
See, my take here is that he's more than likely getting near to that 34.3k mark. And I'll have, I have my 3 reasons to, say that.
Sure.
Number 1 is a slight test resurgence that he has had in the past maybe 1.5 years or so. So in the last 5 test matches that he has played, including the Ahmedabad test, the WTC final, 2 West Indies and the 2 against South Africa, so 6 test matches, that I think there has been a test resurgence. There have been a couple of centuries also. There was that useful 49,
Bangladesh.
important 49 against in the WTC final, a century against West Indies, and those useful contributions in South Africa, the 40 and the 70 odd. So that clearly showed that he's really getting into his test mojo back. So I have my reasons to believe that there is going to be a test resurgence of Virat Kohli, and that will contribute to his already established ODI greatness. So any which ways, he's getting those big runs in ODIs now. That will contribute to it. Number 1 point is the test resurgence. Number 2, fitness. We have already discussed about it. He's supremely fit. There is no reason why he cannot play for another 4 years. And number 3, the increasing number of ODIs that will happen post the 2025 Champions Trophy.
So again, with the average
looking into the 2027 ODI World Cup.
It becomes very complex, and this is what it sort of opens up even more when we talk about whether he can get to those many hundreds or not. But the fact that you look at this year, 3 ODIs is all we've seen Virat Kohli play.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
He doesn't play any more ODIs till end of this year. So 3 ODIs is how it will end for Virat Kohli.
Correct.
There's been no centuries there. So you see, for this average thing to go forward, we will need Virat Kohli to be giving us about 500s maybe out of the 10 test matches that he's to play. If we are going by the average theory that this is how he gets to even 30k. Even then, only then does the theory sustain, because after this season, the average otherwise increases. Then he will have to have more centuries in the remaining 1.5 year of his career if he plays for another 2 years.
We'll get to a little later, no? Just now the run.
No, but somehow, if you have to get to those runs, you'll need a few centuries here and there
Not
as well.
necessary.
Yeah, not necessary, but it can be done in 80s and 90s also. but you will need those big scores as well.
The
So,
only way I feel, he's getting like very near or even, 1% surpassing Tendulkar with that 34.3k mark is the big hundreds that will have to come in Test cricket. The Test resurgence has to basically be the catalyst here or be the lead here, that if that happens, he get those big runs. Then I think we can probably have a discussion maybe 1 year down the line or maybe 1.5 years down the line that yes, he's probably getting there. Like a realistic discussion from that perspective.
Just one thing, because Shivam wants me to address to a few comments that they're saying it's a wrong estimate of number of ODIs. I don't think people are getting what I'm trying to say. We're not counting the number of ODIs now, right? Whether ODIs happen, you're not seeing ODIs now, you may get, that is just the immediate season. We're not looking at the next 6 months, we are looking at the next 4 years. You have to even out the number of ODIs that he has been playing. Roughly, I'll give you the number that he has played in the last 13 years. He's playing about 18 ODIs a year, and we have to take an average of it. Please do not, I don't think you guys are understanding the fact that when you take an average, you take 13 years and take a mean, the middle. That doesn't mean that way the next few months will have too many test matches. That doesn't mean that test matches numbers increase. We have to take the number of test matches based on his career in 13 years. It all evens out. So no ODIs now, maybe ODIs will start increasing after some time, maybe ahead of the Champions Trophy, maybe then right after that when you're looking ahead to the next ODI World Cup, and he most likely will play that, number of ODIs will increase. So some year he may play 20 ODIs, some years he may play 10, but it eventually will even out to somewhere around 15. So we're looking like at an average, if you're assuming the next 4 years of his career, those will be the number of, and on an average he has been getting you about, as I said, 900 runs a year in ODI cricket, and that's what we assume. So this is an average, not based on real numbers, because we don't know after 6-8 months how many ODIs and test matches.
yeah, like for example, last year he played 27 ODIs.
Yeah, that's what
because there
I'm
was
saying.
a ODI World Cup also.
So 3 this year makes it 15 a year.
Exactly my point. So that all evens out. Don't look at the real.
And any which ways, I think the third point that I specifically mentioned about the increase in number of ODIs post the 2025 World Cup, that's really going to happen because all the teams would want, to establish their core for the 2027 ODI World Cup in, South Africa and Zimbabwe.
But that can't be an argument. I'll tell you why. As I said, it'll even out. So there could be a 6-month period where there's no ODIs. There's another period that there'll be more ODI.
But that won't really happen post the Champions Trophy. That there would be a 6-month period when there are no ODIs. I don't think that's really happening.
No,
I'm not saying that, Siddharth. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that in his 13 years that we are looking, he has gone through multiple times, right? Near ODI World Cups, near Champions Trophies, near this, near that, not away from something. So at any given point, he has had a lot of ODIs together and not a lot of ODIs together. That's exactly what's going to happen. So you cannot take that as a thing. I'm saying you'll have to take a rough average of how many ODIs he plays. It all evens out in the end.
but it's sort of different now. It's sort of different now because with his workload now being managed and all, no?
But he was how much was he missing in
and also this year you're
only
not going
T20s are out in that sense.
And this year also you're not going to be playing any more ODIs. But next year you're saying after 25 Champions Trophy, you might be playing more to get ready.
So that's what I'm saying. Any argument to say more test match, less test match isn't fair because eventually it evens out. He will be playing those amount of matches. You can argue in terms of his form, whether you see him going at that rate or not. That's another thing. Or do you see a dip because of age, or do you see a high? But if you were to look at the prediction or the forecast that we've done, that is based over a 13-year period. That's why I took a 13-year period. If I just took 2 years, then you can say, no, you've only taken the time when there were a lot of ODIs were happening. That will not happen. But we've taken 13 years, so he roughly plays around.
And you also mentioned about the fact that you see his mojo coming back in Test cricket. But do you see it like him getting back to his prime the way he was before that slump came in his career? Because that's when that's the majority of his career. The average that we have taken out, it's been majority of his career has been that high. After that, you saw that dip in form, and then he has never sort of reached again the kind of peak he had early on. So that's why also I feel that getting these many runs each year for the next 4 years is difficult. No, continue.
See, I have my reasons to believe that his test resurgence is going to happen, and it's going to happen like he's going to get those big hundreds. And the knocks that I like witnessed, and I'm sure we all witnessed in South Africa, they were exemplary. Even those, they weren't those big hundreds or so. In fact, those pitches were very
Those
tough.
are promising signs. I know.
Yeah,
one of the
even
test
his feet
matches
were
got
moving
over.
well. He was looking like his,
but
old
to
Virat.
Get to 34K, you will need bigger this thing. I understand these are promising signs. These are promising signs of Virat getting back into his groove. But just want to run you through some numbers over here. From the time his peak 16, 17, 18, if you have to go to that golden period that Virat had, averages in Test cricket 75, 75, 55. Right, these 3 years, 68 in 2019, after which 19, 28, 26, 23 to 2023 was 55. So we saw the resurgence you're talking about came in 2023. Now the resurgence also has gotten to 55, him to 55. Now if we need him to go past Sachin Tendulkar, we will need 75. Only then maybe does it happen.
And not just that, what I also feel is that getting to, you're saying, talking about some innings in South Africa, some innings here and there where he has actually looked like that old Virat. I feel that has also come with experience, that he's able to, take the team out in such occasions. But to actually stay there and get those many runs, I think that is absolutely a whole different thing in those senses. Definitely, you might see him getting a double 100 here and there, a big 100, 170, 180 odd. But to do that consistently, then only you can actually breach the 34,000 run mark. To do that, you need to do that again and again and again. That
See, any which ways, I understand what you're saying. My only point is that until the 2027 ODI World Cup, let's just assume that India are going to play about 35 to 45 ODIs. Anywhere between that.
Until when?
Until from now until 2027 ODI World Cup, before the beginning of the tournament, India are approximately going to play 35 to 45 ODI matches.
Yeah, just about 40 maybe. Yeah.
Plus minus 5-10.
Because you're not playing anything this year.
Yeah.
Next year as well, let's look at it. You're playing 3 ODIs until the Champions Trophy. The 3 against England, you're not playing any other ODIs.
this year you're not playing any ODI.
This year you're not playing any. 3 in the month of February against England. Then you play the Champions Trophy, which would be anywhere between 8 to 10 matches. That's all you will be playing. After which, forget 2 months of IPL. Then forget 1 month because you'll be busy with the World Test Championship final, hopefully.
Exactly.
You're left with 6 more months.
True. So, approximately 35 to 45.
You're taking these 35-40 on the average of matches we have taken here, right?
Yeah. So, 35 to 45 odd ODIs, okay, until the 2027 ODI World Cup, before it obviously begins, before that. And about maybe... could be more number of test matches also, assuming he plays, for 3 or 3.5 to 4 years.
I'm saying you have to go at an average. The number of matches, see, our prediction of his averages going up and down can vary. You may think he gets a lot, he may think he remains low. But I think roughly the amount of matches that he's played over the years will be around the same. Give or take a few. T20s we've eliminated. That's why we've not taken T20s in Just looking at... test matches.
Okay,
so when you look at our prediction also that I did, we are not actually extrapolating his. Can you show us the forecasting? You see, the thing is, if I was to take his total number of runs 26940 divided by 13, that will give me a completely different figure every year, because that will also add T20 numbers, and that will look very good. But we've not done that, right? So the only addition we've done is specifically ODIs and tests to tell you at which rate he'll grow. So it is most likely he reaches 30K at the end of 2 years by the time he's 38, or he reaches 33K or 33K.
But it's interesting, that if we were to look at, while this is one way of looking at his trajectory and predicting what we are to expect or project, what is it that Virat Kohli can offer. If we have to look at the last 4 years though, or let's make it 5, because that gives you momentum, that tells you where exactly the pair is placed.
That's always not fair.
I'm just saying this is another way of doing it.
No, but the thing is that is still not fair, because then you can be accused of cherry picking. You are cherry picking and taking majority of his worst time and projecting. So what
it's like saying Manchester United are in dumps right now, right? But can you say that about the club in entirety? No. 15 years, 20 years,
No,
if
but-
I
but
do
again, not a
that,
fair
Manchester
comparison.
United are a great
No,
club.
but Harshit, not a fair comparison. Clubs change, club identity is
So-
same, but personnel change. A player is the same.
Player graph. We've seen so many players achieve the highs of sport and then
Correct.
end where you want them to just go.
No, but it's the opposite also. There are some that have really peaked much better than
Yeah.
they ever. So how is it that we decide which part is he?
That's what I'm saying.
There's no way.
So while this is one way of doing it, the other way of projecting also is
but
because
the
it tells me
you're
last
not-
5 years what is it to
No, but
if
the
there's
club
only
comparison is wrong because clubs are not.
if a
individual.
Harry Kane is giving me 35 goals every season, right? I'm expecting next couple of years as well he'll be doing the same. But the year that I see, okay, 35 has now become 25 and it's become 3 seasons now. Will I be expecting the 35 average again the 6th year, or will I be expecting diminishing returns?
Whatever you are expecting is an estimate, but it is still an individual you are talking about who has gone through highs and lows. Clubs are not individuals. Club can change. Club is the name. Tomorrow, if I pick a club to win, it is based on the 15-20 personnel they are. Next season, you take those 50-20 personnel completely out and put it completely different. My projection is different. It can never have a graph. So the club comparison cannot. But an individual can, because I can judge him. No, I am just looking at his performance going up and down in whichever way. All I'm saying is if you were to pick any one particular format, you can look at his recent form and say, and that can be for you and I to base our assessment on, that I'm only looking at recent form and I see his graph going like that. That's fair, but that can be an opinion. Whenever you do a forecasting or a projection, you cannot cherry pick. I cannot decide that, okay, I will only take these. There could be others who will accuse you then of saying, why have you taken the worst time? I am going to take his period from that because I think he can come back. There was a time in Sachin Tendulkar's career where he had a resurgence.
Exactly.
Not later in his career.
With Virat
where his
right
graph
now,
dropped for 3-4 years, but after that, when you thought he was done, he had a 3-4 year period.
It's
which
so
was probably
precarious.
the best.
See, it's difficult looking at this mathematically because it's very precariously poised right now.
Yeah.
Because the time that you keep increasing the filter, 2 years becomes 4, 4 becomes 5,
That's
things
why
become.
we've not kept a filter. We've kept his entire career.
But
There is no filter.
again,
We've kept
it
his
becomes
entire
again that here I'm also including the fact that there is still a possibility, and there is a remote possibility that we see Virat Kohli achieve that 16, 17, 18, the highs of those years as well. But if I'm looking at the trend, if I will base my projections more on what I've seen in recent times. 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years I can take. But can I expect a player then to go back what he was 8, 10 years back as well? This is what this projection does wrong over here.
No, Harshit, not getting. I'm saying this has also taken into account his worst phase. If you are doing 5 years, that's worse because you're only taking majority of his worst phase. This has taken all of his phases. This does not restrict itself. This does not, in any way cherry pick to a particular thing. There is no way of you or me assuming. That can be our opinion. That's again, I repeat. It can be your opinion that his graph has come down and you think that it will continue to go down because for you that's important. Fine. For me, it could be he comes back, I give you a Sachin Tendulkar. But neither of us are right. But what this does is, it is not taking in biases that may creep into my mind or your mind in how we look at it. This is not looking at any of that. It takes his whole career as totality and then gives you a projection. When you look at anything, when you're going to look at anything and look at a fair mean or you find a medium, you have to look at the entire thing. You can't decide because neither do you know where his career goes from here, neither do I know. Nobody knows. So what I can do is that here is a player who over 13 years has gone high to 75, low to 21. Right? He's done it all. Who knows? He goes back to high of 75 or he goes back to the low of 21. I don't know. You don't know. I can guess. You can also guess, maybe looking at the way he's batting, the conditions, how driven he is, how fitness is, and that's where our opinions will come in. But when you're going to look at it in mathematical terms and you're going to do a projection, then you'll have to take his majority of his career where he's seen highs and lows. Who knows where he goes? So again, when I tell you about this projection, this is giving me an idea. By the way, I think there is a good chance he finishes close to that. And even if he does not, if we were to take Harshit's argument, he still finishes below Sachin. So I'm just going to quickly get back to the point and look to the answer that we want. How many of us think in one line, does he go past that Sachin Tendulkar mark, and why? In one line. We have to go to the centuries also.
According to me, he doesn't. I think he finishes second on that list.
Yeah. Can we see the list also, Shiv?
Yeah.
Anybody? Nobody wants to say.
I'll wait for Gulati
Okay.
to make his point. Yeah.
You know, my response is actually a maybe, but I know it won't count here. So yeah, he finishes a good number 2.
Okay. Okay.
But it's a maybe for number 1. It is.
Maybe. So
Yeah.
you think it's a close call?
Yes, it is.
And you think that is because he will have the best years of his career now, and he plays for 4 more years.
Yes, and I know that there's only one format which can actually speed up that process, and it's Test cricket.
But don't you think there are that?
Shashwat, we'll have to move to another one.
One
line to
I think the opposite. I don't think the returns in Test cricket can be as huge as they were in the years of. He's still going to be very good at Test cricketer. He's still going to be finishing second as per my guesstimate right now. But because I don't see those big returns, I don't see those double hundreds. I see hundreds, I don't see double hundreds, which is what you'll need, those 150s, daddy hundreds, to be able to move past a Sachin. I don't see those happening. So for those reasons, I think that he's not going past Sachin.
See, I am rather than my own opinion, I rely on numbers more. I'm a believer of law of averages. So I'd say that the numbers over his career will even out. He may have 6 great months, 6 bad months, few good series, few bad series, like any other player. Eventually, if he plays for 2 years, I guess he'll be somewhere close to 30. If he plays for 4, he'll get to 33. Won't go past Tendulkar. The only bright side that I see for Virat, keeping everything the same, the only bright side that I see, and there are 2 ways that he can go past Sachin Tendulkar. One, he pushes himself to play till 42. Again, who knows? He could.
But
be
you see
one of
him
those
play just for 2 more years.
No, 42. I'm saying.
No, you see him play for 2 more years.
No,
or 4 more?
I am saying he plays till about 39 or 3 or between. Yeah,
3 to 4 years.
Yeah, between 2 to 4. So it could be 3. I'm just getting. It's very tough to predict. But if he plays till 42, he goes past it. Or the other thing, which is really in his advantage, which can really boost his numbers, is the fact that for a lot of his career, at least from 2017 onwards till 2023, or even till 2024, you had the worst possible test pitches at home, which did not allow your batters to get runs, barring that one pitch that you got in Ahmedabad that he got, and he made full use of it. So that is a period of 6 years, slightly more than 6 years, where a lot of Indian batters have been denied a lot of runs. The thing is, and what Harshit started out by pointing, that at one point where it looked like he's going past Tendulkar, that chances have come down. I think one of the major reasons why that has happened is the pitches that we served up at home. Had you not gone down that route and you were still serving the pitches that you had in the 90s and early 2000s, I'm sure Virat would have been, somewhere around the 28k mark. He would have got by now about at least 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 runs more. But what is the advantage for him now? I think you have turned a leaf, at least I think so, after that England series. Now for Bangladesh, going forward, even New Zealand, you will start getting slightly better pitches at home, still spin friendly pitches later, or better pitches. So he can utilize that and really push that, our prediction of 33k to 34k or close to it. He can push it provided you get those pitches. He might be getting those pitches. So a close call, it can be a close call. Those pitches might help him, but I still think he may just finish below.
But the majority of the time when those wickets were served out to the opposition, it was Virat Kohli who was leading that side at that point. So it was his decision somehow.
No, I'm not even getting into the decision. I'm saying where he would have been had those pitches been
But
different.
he was party to
Everyone, everyone. The coaches now, whoever is a coach, that's another matter altogether. And you of course did that to win. But the point is, because we are comparing him to a lot of other batters, none of them got to bat.
But then conditions,
those,
different conditions.
Exactly
For
what
them
I'm
also,
saying.
for him also.
No, but for them, for a lot of them, like let's say a Sangakkara or Jayawardene, they got to bat because majority of the time you bat at home, right? You get the best batting conditions at home, and they got those in Sri Lanka. Sachin Tendulkar got it at home.
But it's also with the quality of opposition at that point of time.
No, but that's another debate. No, that
so I
is
think
another.
all of that gets even out.
No, the pitches don't. Quality of oppositions can be an argument.
I'm saying if the pitches were good enough at that point, then the oppositions were also of that quality.
No, but who was to say? Like, that's what I'm trying to say. That's another debate. That's why I want to know. But who is to say that Dale Steyn who he's faced a lot in his career, or Jimmy Anderson, or a Stuart Broad, do not finish as one of the greatest bowlers that there have been. So he's also faced one of the greatest test bowlers ever to have played the sport. Who is to know where Pat Cummins or Josh Hazelwood will finish? Who is to say where a Nathan Lyon in cricket? So this is a different debate. We can get into what is the opposition, and they could be two different things, right or wrong. But the pitches were there for all to see. Nowhere in the history of Indian cricket did you have those kind of pitches. No time, neither for Sri Lankan cricket that they served up that kind of pitches where test matches are getting up so early. But that's another debate of opposition, who does well or that. We have to move to another one. Shivam, Haji bol.
One line answer will be, he will be surpassed Sachin Tendulkar.
Why do you say that?
Because he has that fitness. And
But for fitness, we've taken into account he plays till 40. We've given that fitness, and in 40 also he's falling short.
he will play around
42. Okay, Shivam, our producer, thinks he'll play till 42. So then he can definitely go fast. Yeah. But he needs to have that form continuing, right? And as I said, it's not always about your body's fitness.
It's mental.
It's mental, your hand-eye coordination, your eyesight, all of that. That no matter how many hours in the gym you spend, or how many spinach soups or cheese or healthy food you eat, that unfortunately is not in.
And physical fitness, till you know, gradually it's coming down. For mental fitness,
Even if it does not.
You sort of, it happens overnight.
We don't know. I haven't encountered it yet. Shashwat.
he made himself ready for that.
Let's see. Nobody has been able to fight age, Shivam. You can be fit. One 50-year-old can be fitter than the other 50-year-old. There are other things that come with age, which
Exactly.
even kings and Maharajas, they all look for that magic potion. They never found it.
Yeah.
Everyone looked for it. It's not available. Okay, let's quickly move to the next point. Do you see, by the way, let me quickly give you, can you have the notepad? What is the other thing that we are looking at? Most international hundreds, Virat Kohli at 80. This is just a 2-horse race. Virat at 80, Sachin Tendulkar at 100. Let me give you the projection for this, and then you can give arguments in favor or not. We have the projections for this, if we can. Okay, just leave it, I'll do it.
Projection time.
Projections for his hundreds. What do you guys think overall as a idea? You think he's going past it, not going past it?
I did some mental math. I think that this is the one he's breaking.
Yeah, this even I feel is
He's
possible.
breaking.
Yeah.
No, you're saying it with utmost surety.
I can say it with
Not even 1% chance you're giving of not getting.
No, of course, there's always a 1% chance, but more than 34K, I believe this is the one that's possible. This is the mountain he can really climb.
No. In comparison to that, you're saying, do you think there's a how much percentage according to you?
I think there's a very healthy percentage.
How
I would
much?
say there's a good 75% chance he could get there.
Okay.
I'm 50-50 about
He
it.
will definitely break the second record.
This looks far
realistic,
more.
But for that, he needs to play for 4 years and get 5 centuries each year.
Again,
On an average.
I do see him playing for good 2 to 4 years. The window that we were considering for the previous thing as well, I do see him, being there.
No, but if we are taking this average, then he'll be way away from that mark.
See, I'll
If you
just
take
give it
this
to you.
average.
And if
If he's been getting centuries at this rate for the last 13 years, then I feel
I'm going to do if he plays for 3 years or if he plays for 4 years, okay? So what happens if he does for 3 years? What happens if he plays for 4 years? So in 13 years, his average, he's getting about 2.2 hundreds per year in tests. In ODIs, he's getting about 3.5 hundreds a year. Overall, highs, lows, all included, good year, bad year, all included. So if he plays for 2 years,
So
he's at
11
80 and he's at 80.
Another 11.
So that will be 2 plus 7. I'm not taking 2 point this, right? That's 2 plus 7, right? That's
No, it will be 4 plus 7, no?
2.2.
2.2 into 2.
Sorry. Apologies.
Yeah.
Sorry.
5.7.
So yeah, he gets to 91.
So I'm taking about half. So if it's 4, should I take, yeah, it's about 4.5, but I'm just taking 4 for now. Okay, let's do 4.5, right? So that takes it 87.
5, by the way, calls for rounding off.
No, this is less than 5. So
Yeah,
then
it's
it should-
actually less than 5.
So let's,
Yeah,
let's
4.4. So let's go with 4. Let's go with
Let's
4.
go with 4, okay? Let's go with 4 then. So that's 80 and that's 4 plus 7.
91.
So that's 91 he gets to, right? Similarly, if he does go on to play for 4 years, that's 80 and that is going to be,
That's going to be 8 plus 14.
that's 9 because I'm going to take plus 2's now.
Okay.
9
9 plus 14.
plus 14 and that takes him well past it, right?
103.
Yeah, 103.
That's if he plays for 4 years though.
That if he plays for 4 years. So this is just a prediction of the kind of form that he's shown. By the way, if you know, we have, just to remind, we have not been in T20s, and anyway T20s don't play a major role here because
This is the one.
in T20s he's just got that 1 century which has helped his 80, but overall he's going to, if you say that he'll continue the average of scoring hundreds as he's done over 13 years. Again, remember why 13 years? Good years, bad years, worst years, all put together to get you a mean. So 91 to 103. Yeah, now what does it?
What does the Janta think?
I think he is going past Tendulkar. Definitely, and I'll sum up like very quickly. So I already said that, you know, his test resurgence is coming. He's going to get those big knocks, and those hundreds are actually going to make sure that he gets to that 34k mark, near to that 34k mark, or probably even goes past it. And with that said, about these hundreds, I think if he gets more, he's obviously, you know, getting there. Definitely, it's that.
Can you show this also to our viewers first?
You wanna go first?
I'm ready with my argument, I can say right now. I believe this is far more gettable for Virat, like I was saying earlier
Is
as
he
well.
getting it?
I think I have a very strong feeling, I'm very bullish about this. Again, 3.5 is his average entire career. 5 centuries he scored the previous year in ODI cricket. So if I'm just adding a couple of centuries here and there, because I'm not taking into consideration a big resurgence in Test cricket, it's going to be good what we've seen, as I just briefly a short while back summed up as well. I'm expecting limited returns in Test cricket, but ODI cricket, I believe he's going up till 2027 World Cup. So, and 5 centuries here and there, think good 3.5 years he could get there. I'm very bullish on that.
I feel it's going.
बोलेंगे आपके नहीं अभी भी नहीं।
I feel it's good. I think it's not going. He's not going to reach that 100 mark, but I think he's going to be very close to that.
No, why do you think he's not?
I just
we all
feel-
want to know.
I just
you
feel
cannot
age will-
not always be a former Test cricketer.
no, but
and
I
say,
feel
I
age-
don't think he's not going to reach.
I-
You have to give a argument.
I feel that age will catch up eventually, and I'd like Gulati sir sees it like that it's going to be, he's going to again attain his peak. I feel that it's just going to come, not downhill exactly, but I think it's not going to be the same as it was. So seeing him score 5 centuries each year, that too till 40, that too if he's playing till 40. I'm just taking an average, I'm just going by 5 centuries a year.
About
if
a
he play-
6, our
Yeah.
average tells us about
Yeah.
6 centuries a year. He's
So
getting
if-
between tests and all.
Yeah, so seeing him play for 4 years, even if he plays for 4 years, then also I feel he's going to be really close to that. If he decides to run after that, then it's a different thing. But if we just go as per the numbers and as per how things could turn out for, I feel he's going to be really close to that, but might not be able to.
What if I tell you that he does want to run after that?
Then I think he'll get that.
Yeah.
Then
Because I think, whether he says it or not, I think there is no way that this is not going to be on his mind.
then
100%.
Nothing can
I
stop
will
him.
tell you a story today.
yeah.
As
Exclusively
I
on Sports
always,
Today.
yeah. So there was a gentleman who's worked with Virat. I mean, he's with a brand. He's worked with Virat, and so I'm not taking any names. So he told me this story long ago. So he met a young Virat. I think this was a Virat about 2013 or around that 12, 13, where he was still in the early days of his career, but he had become the
World champion.
the Virat 2.0 version had come.
Did Australia series?
It was the starting bit of Virat 2.4. And some casual conversation, this thing came up about 100. And he mentioned in that, in those years, but I'm actually saying it as a very positive thing. And he said, Bhaiya, wo to main tod dunga. And at that time, if you heard him, let's say, if I was there in the room, I would be like, this guy is really cocky, because he's nowhere even close. He must be like 6, 7.
You
to really think
13, 14 if he said that.
Yeah. For him to think that he's going to reach there, come on, man. He's pushing it.
Like
I would have said it.
He'd not even peed by then.
Yeah. All of us would have said it, yeah. But I am actually admiring his confidence, because at that time he knew that he's going for it.
And now
At
if
that
Rian
time-
Parag says this, everyone laughs on him.
No, but to be fair, there were a lot of people. I'll give an example. There were a lot of people who laughed at Virat also. You remember this whole story about those two women cricketers saying they saw this young kid and he said, hey, watch out for me, and remember.
I'm the next big thing.
So
in Indian cricket.
at that time they also laughed at him. Everyone did. If you're laughing at Rian Parag, and if Rian Parag can reach the highs that Virat Kohli has, then all of us who laughed at him need to shut up. But same with Virat. People would have, but maybe it was that confidence that he had in him which has taken him where it is. Because honestly, when he came in, he was a good player and all of that. But there were certain players that came in and you knew that they were destined for greatness. I'm sorry, Virat did not give you those vibes to begin with. Yes, then came a resurgent. I think 2014 for me, that series against Australia, I thought, yeah, this guy is special. But by that time, he had made his debut in 2008, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes. Nine.
That's 8-9 Sri Lanka, wherever I remember.
Eight.
Yeah, and so that's been about 5-6 years since that time. He's already played. How many greats, like, when you had greats like Sachin and when they came in, you knew from the instant, destined for greatness. Ricky Ponting, when he came early, Brian Lara, when they came early, you knew. But in Virat, no, even in Rohit's case, initially you knew. Everyone spoke about. But with Virat, it was just sheer hard work. His, that belief that he had in himself, when nobody else saw it like that, but he did. I don't think too many people would have punted on him being a great. Yes, you could have punted him at being an India cricketer who plays with a lot of dignity and grace for the country for some time to come. But nobody predicted that he'd be one of the greatest of all time. But he believed in it. So people would have laughed. Maybe if you and I were in that room when he said that, we would have said, not then, we would have gone out and said, Pagal hai yaar. मतलब थोड़ी ठीक लगा लो, like you can have ambitions, but come on, 100. But here we are today, sitting and discussing that where he has a realistic chance of doing it, which is why I say I think this is a record. Maybe not the runs. This is a record that he may break, because I think he's determined to get that. I think he's got his mind to it, and when he has his mind to it, see, again, nothing is, you can't take anything for granted. He could still fall short. Sometime, man proposes, God disposes. You can, plan anything. But I think he would be driven enough to get to that record, which is why I think he will.
God also said in Ambani's event when Salman asked, "Koi tod payega 100 ka record?" And Sachin.
He said, Rohit and Virat. Rohit, I don't think.
Any which way, it's not happening.
Even thinks about it.
That's another thing.
But Virat, but do you think that by the time he plays, if he's playing the 2027 World Cup and he's just short about 2-3 centuries away from that, is he going to play after that also?
If he is good enough and if he is one of your best batters in the 2027 World Cup, then who are
Sachin,
you and I to say that he should not continue?
No, but about Sachin, like we say it now, that he should not have continued after 2011. He went after his 100th 100. Same could be the case here.
Who said he should not? You saying he should not?
No, I never
but
said
he continued till 2013. So if Virat continues, okay. See, also it will
See, the
depend on
nation
what
waited
form
for
he is.
100th 100. The nation might as well wait for the 101st also, na? As long as none of this comes at the cost of an India World Cup.
And if you think he's overstaying his welcome, the journalist should raise your voice. So raise it at that time.
He's not a journalist, he's a former test cricketer.
Then all the
Okay, let's get to some questions. Shubham Garg has a question. Do you think rank turners at home tossed Virat's test career? Maybe shows for India batters, team came first, then their own runs, all batters sacrificed runs.
That's a good point.
Yes.
Actually, we really raised that. And sometimes we look at this negatively, but yeah, look at the positive side. They sacrifice, in their mind, that was the best way to win test matches. And they sacrifice their own runs to ensure that you win at home. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, another comment from Shubham. Post World Test Championship start, India, South Africa have produced toughest pitches. Batters from these countries can't have 50 plus average, as 175-200 is a winning score. Last South Africa tour was the same. Yeah, I think that last South Africa tour was just an exception, specifically the second test. The first test was still okay. I think South Africa scored more than 450 in that match.
408.
Yeah, 400 plus in fact.
Yeah, 408.
So
India
anyway,
281 and then they were made to
yeah, India had an innings defeat in that.
Yeah, India had
game.
an innings defeat.
So yeah, another comment from Shubham.
Yes, I think the pitches in India now, as we mentioned earlier, I think are going to change. So earlier, if they weren't there, we are only predicting the future. So if the pitches going forward are good enough, then that works.
Yeah. Okay, another comment from Shubham only. Quality bowling doesn't negate bad pitches. Virat Kohli got 2 ankle height LBWs of ball pitching on good length versus Lanka. Batting on 40 plus, they were lottery.
Yeah, but part and parcel of the game. Yeah. Can't think of a single batter that's
Can I also say something
not
over
been
here?
lucky in terms of decision or been unlucky in terms of
While it's true that Virat, because of the pitches that we've had over the last few years, last few seasons, the batters haven't given the kind of returns that they did previously. But even then, you look at the last 2 years of window, it coincides with the fact that Virat was still not your best test batter. It was Rohit Sharma. He had 400s vis-a-vis Virat's 2 in the lead up to the WTC previous final. So that tells you that even then Virat wasn't your best batsman. It has coincided with that. So to say that it was all down to just the pitches is also not entirely true, because there were those like Rohit who scored runs on those very pitches.
Yeah, but again, they were far and few in between. We remember those
agreed.
because once in a
I'm just saying, even then, that wasn't the only. There were people who were doing slightly better also.
Yeah. This is an interesting comment. Sarthak Arya. Back to YouTube after a long time. Last time I tuned in, Sid V suggested Rajendra Ka Dhaba. And
Sid V couldn't have suggested.
Sid V nahi, I did. I told him.
suggested it to
Sid
him.
V has no clue about Delhi food. He is,
And it happened on a Saturday or a Sunday, I remember, because I told him next day is you're off, go there. It's a recommendation, but the man doesn't listen, as often is the case.
Sid V has no idea about Delhi food.
Okay. And yesterday, Nikhil sir suggested Gulati restaurant, Pandara Road. Delhi is just awesome. Have you tried Chole Bhature from
I have
Roshan
to
Karol
say,
Bagh? Yes, I have.
Delhi is the best city in terms of food.
Yeah.
And I don't hail from Delhi. I'm telling you, by far.
But if you
Today we had modaks.
But Chole Bhature, it's better to have it from Monica Vikaspuri. They are very.
No, but he's talking about Roshan. I
I
have
have it from anywhere,
Virat, Shikhar Dhawan, all of these people.
He used to have Ram Ke
Ram ki Rajouri Garden,
Arey.
second place Shikhar Dhawan and all of these people. Because their
I'm
childhood
telling
was
you,
very close to
like-
Monica.
one by one.
Yeah, one
But
thing
you
like.
cannot say anything. Give him the mic. Just let him finish.
Monica Chole Bhature and Vikaspuri is the best place.
Next
for Chole
time, without the mic.
No, we'll soon have the mic that.
But now you cannot say.
Or go have Sitaram.
Yes.
Very
No, I
good.
think that is
in
overrated
Paharganj.
now.
Paharganj. No,
Overrated
very nice.
now.
I've had it at that place. Very nice.
But now I
Sitaram
think it's-
Divanchan. Very good.
Yeah, but.
Or
now
you can have,
They're really sophisticated about the Chole Bhature.
I to like it.
So that's why.
There's one in Noida also, Radhesham. Have you had?
No.
Have you had Radhesham? Sector 18, Atta Market. Okay. One day we shall have Chola Bhatura.
But then for me.
Test match.
Test match day?
Yeah.
Lunchtime.
Yeah.
Because we start early in test match days. Test match, lunchtime. Some Chole Bhature from Radhe Krishna. Not too far away. We can Zomato it also.
Yeah. But for me, this Roshan beats Ram.
Acha.
Yeah, the
Must
very
try.
good, very tasty.
Must try then. Thank you.
I've stopped eating Chole Bhature since the time I shifted out from Vikaspuri. That was the last time I had.
No, I'll make you try.
In a hep place like Vasant Kunj, where will you find Chole Bhature?
Okay. Silly Point sir says, Nikhil sir, do you remember me? I'm here for the first time after 15th May. I was quite busy. How are you and where is MSD lover Siddharth and KKR fan Shane, and who is the white guy? Okay, he's here
He's after a long time. Silly
of
point.
course, I remember. Silly Point, just to answer your questions. Siddharth was on duty today. He went to cover as I said, a test match that wasn't to be. He's filed many reports on Sports Today. You can check out all those videos about the fiasco that happened there. Shane's not with Sports Today anymore. He's found greener pastures, so he's headed towards that. And who is the guy in the white shirt? That is Siddharth again, but he's Siddharth Gulati. Not from the famous Gulati restaurant we just spoke about, but he is Siddharth Gulati.
So that's Sid V, that's Sid G.
Sarchandra said, Nikhil sir, just want to know one thing today of Shashwat reaction on test squad. And come on, Sidji sir, complete your challenge and 7K run in 4 years at this age is quite impossible. Both of you, please.
You two will come. No, I'm fine. What is there to react?
He wants to know about
yeah.
Give your reaction.
Very.
वैसे he won't stop. Now when he has a chance to give a reaction.
No, I don't know. I don't know what's going. I think a lot of things are changing with this new management coming in, specifically Gautam Gambhir as the head coach. I still am trying to understand what's exactly happening, because we saw a lot of things that changed. Because early on, Shubman Gill, just an example, Shubman Gill wasn't there in the scheme of things for the shortest format. But with this coach coming in, you saw him getting the vice captaincy of that. So in that sense, a lot. And you had Rinku Singh in the test scheme of things early on. With Gautam Gambhir coming in, that's not the case. So it's still really, I am still not able to understand, because it's still early days. With Gautam Gambhir coming in and Shreyas Iyer getting the captaincy of the in the Dugout Trophy, I definitely thought that he would be in that 15-member squad. He also got decent enough runs in the Duleep Trophy, but not having him in the test squad, I still am not pretty sure about it. What was the thought process behind that?
Okay.
And I definitely see him as a future for Test cricket.
Okay.
शुरुआत इससे करनी थी.
Yeah, I will. Okay, I'll complete my challenge in a day or two now.
Okay,
That's the best I can say.
Gentleman's
Yeah.
promise. He is saying it. Okay, on that note, gone on for far too long. Anything anybody wants to say?
Domestic season is about to start.
It's already started, no?
No.
Second round is starting.
No. Like the Ranji Trophy, white ball.
Yeah.
This time, there are 5.
What is Sports Today's #1 fan saying? We'll take that. I love mutton biryani. Says Lucknow also has some good street food. Absolutely. I guess Lucknow is a close contender when it comes to good food. I agree.
So is Amritsar.
Amritsar too.
Too
yes.
good.
Yes, I agree. Amritsar too. Sports Today's #1 fan says Ashwin can pass Kumble record. Yeah, that's another time we can do. Right? Another dugout. Anything other than food?
You lost me the moment that you
It's
mentioned
actually
Chola Bhatura.
How apt is it that the day we discuss Virat Kohli, we are also discussing food. Right? Do you remember what he said, that if he has a cheat day, kya khayega? You remember that?
Chole Bhature.
You remember?
I sort of.
Please tell us. This is
You
amazing.
do? Go ahead.
Please tell us.
So beginning the day, he's going to first of all, wake
हिंदी
up.
में सुनाओ, because you just
तो पहले मैं पूरा दिन मतलब सुबह उठूंगा एंड सबसे पहले आई विल क्रिएट दोस मलाई बिस्किट्स. यो मैरी के जो वो बिस्किट आते हैं उसमें मलाई लगा के उसको फ्रिज में रख दूंगा एंड देन आई विल रेस्ट फॉर अ व्हाइल. देन आई विल गो एंड आई विल हैव 2 प्लेट छोला भटूरास फ्रॉम एनी ऑफ द जो भी लोकल वहाँ पे कोई वेंडर होगा उससे. देन आई विल कम बैक, थोड़ा पेट को आराम देना होगा एंड देन आई विल हैव दैट मैरी बिस्किट्स. आई विल हैव हाफ ऑफ इट. देन in lunch you will have 2 plates of rajma chawal. That's happening. After that you'll have more Mary Malai biscuits, whatever it is. Then in evening you're going to have a paneer ki patty. And I think after that in dinner you're going to have, obviously he doesn't eat meat now, so it's going to be paneer khurchan.
No, so he said दाल मखनी खाऊंगा, पनीर खुरचन खाऊंगा,
गार्लिक नान,
छोले भटूरे खाऊंगा और रात को फन फ्लिप भी पी लूंगा.
गार्लिक नान, कसाटा and that.
Diljit also had something.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned, because that's the other thing going on in my head right now. Diljit had this elaborate sort of description about what his day, and he said in most Punjabi households that's already you उठो चाय तो चाहिए, फिर you have breakfast, उसके बाद फिर थोड़ी भूख लग जाती, तो फिर you have something. और लंच का टाइम हो रहा था, लंच तो नीचे दबान दे, फिर चाय चाहिए. Then like शाम को पकोड़े चाहिए, उसके बाद मीठा पहले खा लो and then have dinner.
He's been looking for his tickets.
पैसे पूसे बारे तो सबसे दुनिया जट पैदा.
पता है खान वास्ते.
Oh, everyone is waiting for the tickets. Nobody is
all
able
the best to them. By the way, cool. He's not given his full name, but he says that, you know, check the FTP first. By the way, sir, that is all proposed FTP. It goes through a lot of change every few months. A lot of things will change there. Chalo, on that note,
Let's go have something.
yeah. Acha, you want me to read that comment also? Shiva, he's highlighted it. No, he's highlighting it. Purpose. So Shiva wants me to read this comment, our producer here, where there is a gentleman called Saurabh Pandey who's saying, "Kya hi bakwas discussion hai." I mean, so is that okay now, Shivam?
Thank you for your feedback. We will.
Thank you for the feedback, he's saying.
We will work on it.
We will work on it. Anything
But
else?
For now, we shall take your leave. As always, enjoyed your company. Enjoyed this discussion as well. In case you're joining us right now, do go all the way back. Some 90 odd minutes we've kept on blabbering. So
Some people even watch it when they would go back home from work and then sort of start to watch it.
Some people abuse and still watch it.
That I don't know.
They watch to only abuse, but they still watch.
on that, we'll take your leave. Good night, Nandri, Shubh Ratri, Shubh Khair. Eat your vegetables
And
and
don't trouble your mother.
and
Vadakkam.
Vanakkam. I have to have my modak now.